Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Hi, and welcome back to Realistic Sustainability Educational Shorts. This week, I want to talk about something I have talked about in the past. I want to talk about how we overfish our oceans. Yep, I know, we've had episodes about it, but every once in a while, I just kind of want to throw out some reminders and some stats. There was once a time that I decided to go ahead and slow down on all my meat consumption. You know, after watching Sir David Attenborough's A Life on Our Planet, it made me start thinking about it. Do I really need as much meat as I actually eat? Probably not. So, I decided I was going to cut down on everything but fish. Then I realized fish should be joining it, and that I should probably be cutting down on all meat. And this is why. We are seriously overfishing our oceans. And we're not just overfishing, we're even overwasting our oceans. And I say that because there's something called a bycatch. Every time that a fisherman goes out to catch a certain kind of fish, because that's what he needs to sell, he catches a whole bunch of other stuff too. And most of the time, it's killed in the process of throwing it back. So, again, we're not only overfishing our oceans, but we're even wasting some of the stuff we catch because they weren't contracted to catch that kind. A lot of sharks go out that way. And I'm sure you know at this point that oceans are a very important part of the global ecosystem and our food chain. Simple fact is if we tear apart the oceans and destroy the wildlife within it, everything else kind of falls apart. It's like the bottom cards in a card home that you make. If you pull them out, the whole thing comes down. And that's kind of what our oceans do to the planet if we destroy them. Not only because they're a carbon sink for the rest of the planet, but because the food chain really functions from it. A couple of things that you should know. That if we continue at this current pace of fishing and wasting, and if you measure that with breeding habits of fish, we will be living on a planet without fish by 2048. Yeah, most of us will still be alive in 2048. And there'll be a handful of fish that we can see in a museum. That is terrible, and it's certainly unacceptable. Between 1961 and 2016, consumption of fish outpaced human population by double. By double. And we're always hearing people talking about how there's too many people on this planet, but by double, we've started to eat more and more fish. Or at least, fish for more and more fish. Over the past 40 years, marine species have decreased 39% over the last 40 years. Did you know illegal and unregulated fishing makes up 12 to 28% of fish worldwide? That is 11 to 26 million tons of fish that isn't supposed to be fished from our oceans, that somehow ends up in the markets. About 38.5 million tons of bycatch happens yearly. Bycatch is what I was talking about before. Maybe they were fishing for tuna, but they caught a bunch of sharks. They kill them, they throw them overboard. 38.5 million tons of sea life that just gets thrown back into the ocean, dead, because it's not what they were looking for that day. The largest exporter of fish, China. The largest importer, EU. Hey, good job, United States. You're not number one on those, but I bet we're not too far. Fishing industries are still getting government subsidies all over the planet. Italy has the largest. Governments are still giving companies to give a lot of extra money to continue to overfish our seas. In the last 55 years, we have wiped out 90% of all ocean predators. Sharks, bluefin tuna, marlin, king mackerel. Most of them gone. We rarely see them anymore. 90% of them completely wiped off the planet. And worse yet, bottom trolling, becoming harder and harder to find sea life. So now we drag nets on the bottom of the ocean, scarring up everything on the bottom of the ocean. All the places where fish live, coral reefs, whatever's down there. It just becomes a wasteland as our large nets scour the bottom of the ocean. So not only are we clearing out what's left, we're destroying the habitats where they create more. Sadly, fishing isn't the only way we catch and kill fish. Our waste products do that too. Plastics, nets from those fishermen. I think we've talked several times about the Pacific garbage patch. Over 1 million sea creatures are killed per year. Another million creatures die just from our waste. And it's not even us catching them and throwing them back in. We just threw the net overboard because we didn't want to take it home and recycle it. The current methods are absolutely unsustainable. My kids could be the last generation who was able to experience fish the same way I did as a kid. It's almost over. I know now that I have to reduce all meats. I eat less seafood, just like I eat less beef and chicken and pork. I eat a lot more vegetables, a lot more greens. But we have to stop some of these things. We have to stop subsidies. It's silly that we're going to pay industries to continue to do the damage that they're doing. And if they do more damage, they get more money. Unfortunately, we work in a money world. Our economy functions that way. If they take away those subsidies, they will fish less. And the great thing about nature, it will repopulate. The species that have survived will flourish again. The ocean needs its chance to recharge. If we stop consuming, then all of a sudden, they won't have a need for as many. So, at first, the prices will plummet to encourage us to buy more. But if we can fight through that and continue to, green our plate and making sure that we're eating more fruits and vegetables and less meats, at some point, those subsidies go away. And so do half of the fishing companies. They'll fish less. They won't have to fish as much. The UN has created Sustainability Development Goals, SDGs. Number 14, protect ocean life and move consumption to sustainable levels. Well, we can do that. We just have to be a little less greedy. We just have to eat a little less meat. And for some of us who've done a heck of a job, they've probably even eliminated it. I appreciate you listening. That's all I have for this week. And remember, I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing in this show, which is getting better little bit by little bit. I will try to do much better, especially when it comes to fish consumption. Because the oceans, well, that's the second lung to this planet. We've got a green one, our forest, and we got a blue one. A big, strong blue one, which is our oceans. And it needs to be protected. Thanks again for listening. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend or on social media. Other ways that you can support realistic sustainability is by becoming a monthly sustainer on our Anchor hosting site. You can do that for as little as 99 cents, and it does help Nick and I out quite a bit. Podcasting has become harder than I thought. Or, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. You could even simply just leave a 5-star review on your favorite podcast platform. That helps us out even more. It gets more listeners to listen in because they can find us on search engines. And with the 5-star rating, Google and all the rest of them will put us up at the top to be seen. So thank you again. And just like I said earlier, remember, we only have to get a little bit better each day. Little bit, and someday it comes out to a big bit. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
If you have the desire to be sustainable but are unsure of what can go in the recycling bin, or you're constantly forgetting the reusable grocery bags, check out Starting Sustainability, the podcast. Don't be frustrated or confused anymore. Starting Sustainability was created to help those beginning their sustainable journey. Each week, we give ideas on simple concepts you can easily incorporate into your current lifestyle. We also share stories of what works and what doesn't, so you don't have to waste your time and money. Check out Starting Sustainability, available everywhere you listen to podcasts.